Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the special meeting of the Liquor Control Commission for Monday, July 25th, 2016. At this time, I'd like you to stand and join us with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Vito?
Here.
Commissioner Kruger?
Present.
Commissioner Lang?
Here.
Commissioner Vogel?
Here.
Commissioner Papantos?
Present.
Commissioner Brady?
Here.
Chairperson Argyris?
Here. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the special meeting of June 20th, 2016.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Papantos, second by Commissioner Brady. Roll call.
Commissioner Vito?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Chairperson Argyris?
Yes. New business, item number 5, Madam Clerk.
In consideration of a request for a Class B1V liquor license, Wapagetti's Pizza Incorporated, 208 McHenry Road.
Thank you. Manager Svendelis.
Thank you. Before the commission this evening is a request to change a B1 liquor license to a B1V liquor license, which would allow Wapagetti's Pizza to house 3 terminals for video gaming. The petitioner has met all of the qualifications in order to house the machines, has paid the difference between their initial liquor fee and what the terminal fees are. And really the question before you is a simple one, and that is, do you wish to allow video gaming at this establishment? The owner is here this evening. I can answer any questions if you have them, and I'm sure he can as well.
Well, let's get Joe up here. Come on up, Joe. We like you. State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Joseph Mastro Tataro. I own Wapagetti's Pizza, 208 McHenry Road, Wheeling, Illinois.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the board?
How come I didn't get all that sausage on that pizza? So moved.
Did you complain?
I'm teasing you.
I have a complaint department, 222.
222. Yeah.
I'm saying so moved if there's no other questions.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Lang, second by Commissioner Vogel, was it? Vogel?
Yeah.
And I think you have a statement to read?
I do. Joe, we read these into record just so that everyone's aware of what the license says. Class B1V licenses shall authorize the retail sale of beer and wine only in sit-down restaurants for consumption on the premises, subject to the following conditions and qualifications. A Class B1V licensed premise must provide a minimum table seating capacity for meal service for 30 persons, exclusive of all bar stools, and must serve lunch or dinner at least 5 days of each calendar week in which the establishment is open. Must have a video gaming license issued by the Illinois Gaming Board in accordance with the provisions of Video Gaming Act. Shall comply with all provisions of the Illinois Video Gaming Act and all rules, regulations, and restrictions imposed by the Illinois Gaming Board. And the operation of video gaming terminals shall not be permitted during the hours alcoholic liquor sales are prohibited as provided in section 4.3.2.
Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Vito?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Chairperson Argyris?
Yes. Good luck, Joe.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care.
The item will be before the board on the August 1st meeting so that you can amend the code to allow for an additional video gaming license. At that time, we can give you your license.
And how long does it take then?
August 1st. It'll be August 1st, so
August
you
1st?
can get
Next
it
Monday.
next
Okay.
Monday night.
Great.
Okay?
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good evening, all.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by Commissioner Kruger, second by Commissioner Papantos. Roll call.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
President Argyris?
Yes.
I'm Chairperson Argyris.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The workshop meeting for July 25th, 2016 is now called to order. Roll call.
Trustee Vito?
Here.
Trustee Kruger?
Present.
Trustee Lang?
Here.
Trustee Vogel?
Here.
Trustee Papantos?
Present.
Trustee Brady?
Here.
President Argyris?
Here. Proclamations.
Resolution award Rock and Run the Runway sponsorship recognition awards.
Thank you. Manager Sondelis.
Thank you. On July 3rd of this year, the Village of Wheeling, along with the City of Prospect Heights and the Chicago Executive Airport, hosted the second annual Rock and Run the Runway event at the airport. And I don't think I'm overstating when I say that it was a huge success, due in large part to cooperative weather, but due specifically to our business partners that have contributed financially to the event. We try as much as possible to have a net zero impact to the village coffers, and I should say the village, the city, and the airport coffers. And we come very close to reaching that goal, and the only way we're able to do that is through the partnership that we have with our business community and the very generous donations that they give on a yearly basis. And what we've started to do this year, and what we would like to continue to do every year, is, we talk about our appreciation and we put up the advertising and the businesses get some recognition with their logo on our flyers and such, but really we want to make sure that they understand how important they are to the success of this event. So we've created these just little plaques that we're going to give to each of the partners and sponsor level donors. And this evening, we are lucky to have Tom Lapone here from Richelieu Foods. We have two partner level participants, and this year that was Richelieu Foods and Joe Pascucci at Wheel Inn. And Joe, unfortunately, wasn't able to be here this evening, but Joe has contributed every year at some level to this event, and we truly can point to his generosity as the success of this event. And this year we were very happy to have a new partner in Richelieu Foods who is new to the community and wanted to participate in this way, and we are very happy to have them. So Tom, if you would please come on up and let me present this to you with gratitude from the Village of Wheeling, the City of Prospect Heights, and Chicago Executive Airport.
Sure, please.
I just want to thank you very much. It's been an honor for us to join the community and to work with all the fine people over here in the community, help get our business started. We're excited to be having a ribbon cutting in the early part of September, right after Labor Day, and we intend to hit the ground running on August 15th for our startup. And very exciting time for us, and stop on over and we'll give you a slice of pizza.
There you go.
If I may, I'd like to read the other sponsors,
Sure.
just so that they get some public recognition. Again, as I said, partner level, which was a substantial donation, came from Richelieu Foods and Wheel Inn Body and Motor Works. And at the sponsor level, we had 4 companies, the names of which are all very familiar to the village because they too have contributed on an annual basis. Riva Development Partners, Skokie Valley Beverage, Terrazzo and Marble Supply Companies, and Wheeling Town Center. All of these businesses have given generously, and like I said, I will have final numbers coming within the next week or so, but we expect to be very close to a wash this year with our revenue to expenses. So that is a huge thing for the community in order to have such a fest and have it not really impact the taxpayers from a financial standpoint. So very proud of that.
Thank you. Citizens' concerns and comments.
There are none.
There are none. Staff reports. Public Works Director Janik.
Thank you. A little update on some construction projects. Last week, I believe I told you that Community Boulevard intersection here might be starting this week. And as you can see outside the window, they've started to clear trees today. The next thing that they're going to do for probably the next few days is make sure that they have electronic signals in between Wolf Road and Northgate Parkway. The concern is that during construction they might nick the electronic communication line between the two signals. So they're going to be putting up a small antenna to make sure that there's communication in between the two signals. That's going to be done by a separate contractor, Hometown Electric. and then only after that will they start doing construction work. They'll be doing excavation and construction work on the north side of Dundee first, and then they'll continue on both sides of Community Boulevard, particularly to the west. We have asked them to try to make sure that there are sidewalk block signs at Wolf Road and Northgate Parkway to avoid people getting to mid-block and having to cross the street. Other than that, there is another project, McHenry Road, that has been approved. Contract's been approved on that, and there's a pre-construction meeting on August 5th for that project, which will probably start in maybe 30 days. And hopefully before that time, both Schoenbeck Road, where the sanitary sewer force main is being installed, and most of the work at Elmhurst Road should be finished as well. Now, when I say finished, I'm saying the paving work, the concrete work, curbing, that sort of thing, hopefully reducing the number of lane closures that occur there. Work outside or inside the right-of-way, but outside the paving will still be continuing at Elmhurst.
Thanks, Mark. Chief Dunn?
Thank you, President Argyris. Reminder that this Sunday at 7:30, we're celebrating Rocking with the Cops family event over at the Wheeling Aquatic Center. It begins at 7:30, ends at 10. All Wheeling residents, village employees are all welcome to attend. And this is our kickoff event for the August 2nd National Night Out. So far, we have 240 people RSVP'd to attend.
Good.
We'd like to, deadline registration was yesterday, but if anybody wants to contact Crime Prevention Officer Scott Levert, I'm sure we can squeeze in a few more guests for Sunday. And the August 2nd National Night Out, I'll be joining many of you up at the Diaz. We'll be traveling around visiting our residents at Tahoe Circle, Sand Pebble Walk, Arlington Club, Lakeside Villas, and Lexington. So that begins Tuesday, a week from tomorrow.
Good. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 7.
Presentation regarding ground-mounted holiday displays.
Thank you. Let's see, we got Managers Fondilis and Christine Bazier.
Thank you. I'll introduce and then hand it over. For the past 15 years or so, the village has been making improvements at the intersection of Dundee and Milwaukee. Most recently with the construction of the Clock Tower Park. During all of that time, the Department of Public Works has successfully, I will say, patched together holiday displays that really create an attraction in our community, highlighted, of course, by our holiday lighting ceremony every year. But one thing that has been missing really is a finalized plan, a design that is set, something that we can point to and look forward to and really advertise as something significant. And really that ties in now with all the improvements that are happening throughout our community from a beautification perspective. Director Janik, along with Assistant Director Bajer, has been working with a company that creates individualized, unique themes. And what this is meant to do is give the board an option to purchase themed holiday directions. And by that, I don't mean character themes. I mean a thoughtful presentation of what represents our community during the holiday time. Tonight, you will see 3 different of those themes for your consideration. We're looking for ideas. We're looking for a response from the board as to what you like. If you see something that you like, and we're hoping to keep this, we literally have it by color. Do you like the green one? Do you like the red one? Do you like? So we tried to make the presentation as simple as possible. If there is a theme that the board likes, we can proceed with moving towards the contract with the company, and we'd also like to talk to you about a timeline. When would you like to see these lights put up? There's an opportunity to have installation happen as early as this season. Obviously, there is a financial consideration here that the board needs to consider. This is unbudgeted, and the funds would come out of the general fund, but it is also an opportunity. So I don't want to steal any of the thunder from Ms. Bajer, but wanted to set the tone a little bit that we're looking to hear what themes you like and what timeline you're looking at, and we can answer any questions on the details as we start to go through these. So shall I kill the lights?
Yes. Well, just kind of to piggyback off of a little bit of what John said. As we all are aware, the Four Corners are a very focal point in the community, especially during the holiday season. And annually, staff installs, maintains, and removes 61 ground-mounted displays that have been probably around for about 10 years now. Consequently, with the age and the conditions of these displays, they warrant replacement. Staff reached out to Artistic Holiday Design, located in Broadview, Illinois, to come up with and create three unique design concepts for the Four Corners. Artistic Design also is associated with Holiday Decorations Ltd., which were awarded the contract for the holiday lights installation and removal contract that the board approved last week. Staff, along with Artistic, selected the following three concepts as a best fit for those Four Corners. The first concept is green and pure LED lights. So as we're going to start off here at Friendship Park, here we have a fountain. We have two ornaments on the side that are dimensional. We have two reindeer, their heads move. Then we have gift boxes and trees. This is the Lehman Fountain. This, I believe, is about a 20 to 25 foot tree in the center and includes two green and pure green boxes that are also dimensional.
Christine, can I get ahead? I'm sorry to interrupt. For 1 second, I'm sure everyone's asking, the trees in the background that are not currently illuminated would still have
Their lights.
Their lights that are installed as part of the contract or efforts on our own.
Correct.
I believe. So this is more the statues, the displays. We would still do the trees in the background. So just before anyone, in case anyone was thinking, that would still happen in the background.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Okay, going back then, so this was the Lehman Fountain. And then we go to the clock tower, which has two reindeer that complement the Friendship Park, as well as the two trees. And then we have the custom swirl trees and three spheres. Now, the green and pure concept is the concept that staff recommends because it complements and actually ties in the custom-made streetlight pole decorations that the board also approved last week. The second design concept is the pure white and red. And here we have a cascading tree. We have also reindeers, but a little different than the green and pure concept. We also have the ornaments, and the ornaments, the triple ornaments and the ornaments themselves are not actually lit. The illumination basically from all the lights there provides enough lighting for it to kind of pop in that corner. Additionally, we have a double cone tree. This is actually one of the tallest ones in any of the display in the concepts. This was actually about a 32-foot tree, and then also it has candy canes at the sides. In lieu of this double cone tree, oops, sorry, went too fast. There is an ornament that can be in its place. And then at Clock Tower, again, we have the ornaments and candy canes, and there in that background, kind of to what John had indicated earlier, you see some of the lit trees back there. And then at the Veterans Park, we have custom swirl trees and three spheres again. The last concept is actually red and warm. And a little similar to the red and pure, a little bit different though in a sense that there are stars at the ends, they have a dimension to it, it's a cascading tree, and then the sleigh is a little different than the second concept. And then here we have again This one, I believe, is also about a 20 to 25-foot tree. And then we have the ornaments on the side. We have a dimensional star and a dimensional gift box, along with the trees lit in the back in that view. And then also the cone, the swirl cones and the spears. Now, last but not least, we also provided a little bit of a concept of different colored trees. And this is basically just to illustrate how we can add color to those corners as well, which would otherwise be just completely pure white lights. So in conclusion, it is recommended that the existing ground mounted displays be replaced due to age and the condition that they currently are in. And then the proposed concepts from artistic design are basically unique and custom made for the village itself, and would not only just beautify the four corners and the community, but also provide and further and promote Wheeling's image. And thank you. Derek, Sarah, and I are welcome to any questions.
John?
The next slide is the one I'm sure everyone is waiting for, and that is, before you go there, I'll set it up, are the costs for each of the three themes. Again, this is just something that I know the board has been talking about as far as creating some kind of concept there. But as Christine stated, what the village currently owns is tired. And we do spend a significant amount of money every year replacing Frosty or any of the other decorations with non-commercial grade. Commercial grade decorations are very expensive, and to that end, if the board chooses, regardless of the timeline, to move forward with some kind of larger concept, we would, from this point on, surf the replacement of that concept. So if you chose green or whatever you choose, the life expectancy we expect to be about 10 years. We would surf for its replacement through that program, and that way we can refresh every 10 years. We could go through the process of looking at a theme again, but the money will be there in order to expedite that process. So with that, Christine.
There's a couple more slides on the multi-tree, so
That's okay.
I apologize for that. That is Lehman Fountain, then we go into the clock tower, and then the Veterans Park.
And this is in addition, the colored trees? That's just not a theme, it's in addition to one of the packages, correct?
What's the background?
Derek Norwood with Holiday Creations and Artistic Holiday Designs. You guys we've already accounted for in the last meeting to light all of those trees. So it was asked upon us to show you guys what it would look like with colored lights as opposed to pure, but it's a swap. So those are already accounted for.
Okay, this slide actually reflects the three different costs for the three different designs or concepts. The green and pure, the total would run an estimated $120,128.82. The red and pure would cost $214,653 even, and then the red and warm is at $112,945.07.
Okay. Do me a favor, Christine. Just show us the green, the red, and the red and warm. Just run it through real good, just to refresh everybody's mind.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask questions.
There we go.
Okay?
All right.
This is the green and pure.
This is the
Okay.
green and pure.
Okay.
This is the red and pure.
Okay.
Oops.
And that's
sorry.
red
And that's
and
the red and white. I'm sorry, the warm and red.
Red and warm. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Trustee Kruger, let me start with you. Questions?
I don't have any questions. My only question that I had was that the colored trees were already paid for in the original contract, so that's already been answered. I'm going to ask about non-denominational. Do you have issues with any of that kind of stuff when you decorate for other communities?
Yeah, and it's something that we consistently pay attention to, and that's the reason for the multiple different options. I would say the non-denominational is the one that the board is recommending. When we get into the red and pure and the red and warm, you do see sleigh, which would indicate Christmas.
Absolutely.
But the other one does not. It would definitely be, I mean, an ornament, you can get a little bit there, but it's not a colorful ornament. And then everything else is just trees, but they're not necessarily Christmas trees.
Correct. That's all I had.
Okay. Trustee Brady?
I wonder if the colored tree lights would distract from the beauty of them all being white. It stands out so nice with all the white lights and the trees. And I'm wondering if we start introducing colors, will it diminish the effect?
To go against that or comment along with that, if you did choose colored lights and didn't like them, we could always go back the next year. So we can swap those. So just keep that in mind. We do have enough lights in those areas that would be able to go back and forth. I probably would agree with you, but I can't vision, you have floodlights that you currently use in those fountains, and they're RGB, so we have the ability to cascade color across the entire design, even if we stick with green and pure, which will be the dominant. You might be incorporating color anyway. It might look so beautiful that it would all work together. We can't simulate that. We got to get into year one. The safe answer would be stick with the pure, but if we really like the way that the colors are bouncing, maybe in the future we could go back to that idea.
It's just that the white lights kind of really, brighten that whole intersection up and the area here when they all go on. Secondly, green is my favorite color, so guess what I'm going to pick?
Figured that one. Trustee Lang?
Thanks. Our current decorations are very old and tired, so I'm glad to see some changes happening. Obviously, you're going to install these. What about storage for all this stuff, too? Do you guys store all this?
Public Works is actually looking to install and store the decorations.
Install.
Yeah.
Okay. And then as for the designs, I think the green one is, price-wise, it's sufficient, and we have some additional colors in our fountains that we could change around, and you're going to work with us on that, and I'm satisfied with something right in the middle. Thank you.
Trustee Veal?
Yeah, decorations aren't my thing, so I'd say the same thing I'd say to my wife if she was shopping, just get the cheapest one. That's all I have.
Trustee Kruger? Papantos?
Thank you. Can you tell me why there is such a significant difference between the red and pure and the green and pure?
The frozen tree that's in the middle is significantly more. That is also significantly taller as well. So the one tree in the middle is a big driver, as well as the ornaments, the unlit ornaments. They're very expensive, and we did put in quite a bit of them. So those were the two drivers that I would say would account for that.
And these are expected to last 10 years, so we're talking this total price basically over a 10-year time period, correct?
The warranty for product and labor is for 3 years. In the Chicago market, we're very fortunate. My oldest LED is actually it's about 11 years old. Then we're still using that tree in the city of Lyons. So we're very fortunate that we're only using it in the cold. The kryptonite for LED is heat. So when you get into your warmer markets, they have to replace them every 2 to 3 years. In our colder markets, we're getting them down before it's ever experiencing any of that. They're very maintainable. They're built to be able to replace light sets very, very easily. We can do that in-house from year to year. We can do it on site if need be. And then as well, the full replacement you will do at some point. We would project that 10 years would probably be that time. And when we say full replacement of the light sets on the decor itself will last a lot longer than 10 years. It's made out of metal and aluminum.
Right. They're all beautiful, thank you. And I don't know why, but I like the green and pure. It was the first one I saw, maybe. When it's sitting on the Friendship Park, what is it going to be viewed from?
Christine, could you
Christine,
go back
you
to
gotta
the
go back
green
to it
one?
because it's,
Please.
please.
Is that the Dundee Road side or the Milwaukee Avenue side? Or is it going to go around?
It's at the corner.
It's on the corner. It's right at the corner itself? Okay, so,
The decor will be set in the different steps going up in the fountain, so it's kind of going, all around in the tower.
Can I just clarify that? Obviously, the steps of the fountain, not the side steps themselves.
right. I figured that out. Thanks, John. Thank you. I like the green and pure the best out of all three. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Vogel?
You explained the difference of the prices because of the size and the makeup of some of the, are they interchangeable?
Yes.
I mean, you could take some of those red, more expensive pieces and make them green,
Well,
or not?
yes, everything is available in any color. So if you
Okay.
like one item and we can give you a price list of each individual item. And if there's an item that you like, if you like the theme of the red and green, but you like one particular item of the different one, you let us know that we can rework the simulation.
Okay. What about a combination? One corner white and green, another corner red and green? Does that work or not? Have you ever seen that?
I would caution against that,
Would you? Okay.
just because the theme-based of what we're trying to achieve, I think that one or the other would be best. It might get a little too crazy.
Yeah, he wants green and gold, this guy over here. A Packer fan. I know where he's going.
You want me to ask that question, or you got that covered, Dean?
I know where he's going.
Okay, thank you.
Christine, let's go to the next slide, too, the red and white. I just want to take my vision on this.
May I also just, I'm sorry, may
ahead.
I also just point something out that I forgot to mention is on this green and pure, as you can see in the back along the fountain, there's actually a curtain of lights as well.
Okay. Go slow. Now, this is the next option, right?
Yes, this is the pure and white, the red and pure white.
Okay. It's a great tree.
And in lieu of that, you can also choose the board can also choose to have the ornament.
Go back to that tree.
Yeah, and this tree, it's called our double cone tree. The outer layer comes in pure white or warm white, and then the inner cone can be red, green, I believe, any color you wish.
Could you get that tree with the green package?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
See, I like that tree on that corner.
That's what I was
And
thinking.
one more comment on that, compared to the tree that is in the green package right now, it's less expensive too. So it would actually lower the green package.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, then let's get a few more things.
Okay. Keep going, Chris, please. And the flag park, it's all the same, so.
Right. And then the next one is the yellow and red.
This is the red and warm.
I'm sorry, yes, red and warm.
Sleigh's pretty cool. Okay, go back to the green again. Let's see what the clock tower looks like. Okay, that's cool.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
At the clock tower, where do the displays go, in front of the brick wall?
Actually, we have them in the, if I remember correctly, we have them inside, but we don't have that many in there. We have the flag on the Veterans Park, then we have the snowman in the Lehman Fountain, and then the remainder go. And then there's some at Village Hall, but that's not part
Here
of this.
you're showing the two reindeers and the two trees. Are they in front of that masonry wall? That's where the pedestrians are walking?
On top.
On top of
Well,
it?
they're the benches on the outer corners, and those would sit on, the trees would sit on the sides of the benches, and then we would mount the reindeers up a little higher, so they'd be like they were on the wall.
Okay. You also got a spot in the center of the clock tower, you could probably put a little something too. You can't see it on here, but if you go by there, you'll see. Okay.
Okay. Chris, go back to Friendship Park on the green.
On the green?
Mm-hmm. Please. Now, is that supposed to be a tree, or what is that in the center?
Fountain, correct?
It's a,
We call it a tree, but it's just a cascade of lights that kind of resembles more of a fountain. More of a non-denominational.
'Cause it almost looks like the Eiffel Tower.
It does, it's right, it does.
Would there be another option for something like that other than the cascade?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Any suggestions, like what?
Go back to the manning tree that's in the one that.
Just visualize this, everyone, just so we get an idea.
Yeah, we could use this manning tree. It's set up in this photo as 2 panels, but also available in 4 panels. So it would make more of a 3D tree. And the colors also can change. The circles you see are 3D ornaments that are suspended within the tree.
So that'd be the only option, that and the cascade?
No, we have a lot of options we can show you. We can put a package together.
That
I mean, that
red
one,
and
back
warm
that one up.
You could use this.
tree,
Huh?
that red and warm tree is a nice
Yeah.
one. That
So
could
we
go
could do that in
green and white.
green and pure as well. Or we could make the tree in the background just all pure, which might even be.
See, I like
nice.
that a little bit better than the cascade.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you
we can
guys
definitely
think?
provide that.
Mary? Ray? Joe?
In
Mary?
green and
Dave?
pure.
All right, so why don't we figure on the layman fountain to go with the big tree and this kind of tree instead of the cascade?
Perfect.
With the green package. Is everybody,
Is this tree bigger?
Yes.
Okay.
This tree's 32 feet versus the other tree that we were showing originally was 20.
I mean, our trees are huge back there now,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But that should be the biggest
Yeah.
in there.
And then would this be green and white or all green?
I'll show
It
it to
could
you
be.
both. I'm thinking that just solid pure white, we just sold one in Houma, Louisiana of all places, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and we'll show it to you both ways.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
Perfect.
Clerk Simpson, what do you think? You on
I
board?
agree, I agree.
Everybody good?
Yep.
You guys got your direction
What about timing?
this year?
Christmas see-
time?
Seriously, this year, I think everybody, if we're going to do this, it's got to get it done. I don't want to piecemeal this.
We just need confirmation really quickly. Everything needs to be manufactured and imported from France. So within the next week to 2 weeks, we need confirmation, and then we'll place the
Well, I
order.
think you got the consensus tonight. You need to get your paperwork so our attorney can review it, and then we move forward.
Okay, great.
But
If you could turn this around, we can get a contract on the agenda for next week, if you can work together to get that done.
Perfect.
Okay,
Excellent.
awesome,
We'll have it to you tomorrow.
awesome. Everybody good?
Good.
Good. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Christine. Mark, thanks. Okay. Speaking of money, come on up, Michael. Item number
Spend
8.
some money, we make some.
Item 8, discussion regarding Series 2016 General Obligation Refunding Bonds.
Thank you. Finance Director Monishane, the bearer of good news.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a feeling this presentation is going to be far less exciting than the last one, but I'll give it a shot anyway.
It's in green.
Tonight, I just wanted to talk to the board about an opportunity that the village has to save a significant amount of money by refunding some of our existing debt. And so I have a brief presentation. Feel free to interrupt me at any point, and we can answer any questions. Just to give you a little bit of background, for those who weren't on the board at the time, in 2005, the village board, the village, I should say, issued or sold $19 million in TIF revenue bonds to pay for the majority of the development incentive for the Westin Hotel project. The total incentive was $23 million. The other $4 million came from general obligation alternate revenue bonds that we issued in addition to these TIF revenue bonds. So those bonds paid 6% interest at the time, which I know today sounds like a lot, but at that time was actually a very good rate. And they mature in 2025, which is when the Lake Cook Milwaukee TIF district ends. The remaining balance that the village owes in principal on those bonds is just under $15 million. So as you can see, up until this point, most of the payments that we've been making on the bonds have gone to interest. And back in 2005, the village board opted to sell revenue bonds rather than general obligation bonds due to really the uncertainty that was associated with the project. If you can put yourself back at that time, obviously we didn't have a hotel project at that time. We were just contemplating it, and there was a lot of risk associated with a project of that size. And we did not want to put the taxpayers at risk by issuing general obligation bonds, because if we did and the project ultimately failed, then we would have to raise property taxes in order to make the debt service payments on the bonds. So that's why we issued revenue bonds, because the risk for project failure then was with the bondholders, the bond purchasers, and not the village. So that's why we paid a significantly higher interest rate, 6%, than we would have otherwise. So currently, the debt service payments on the revenue bonds are $1.8 million per year, and those payments will increase to a high of $2.4 million by the time we make the last payment in 2025. And we make the debt service payments using the tax increment from the Weston project. So currently, the Weston Hotel project as a whole is generating $2.7 million in property tax increment annually. And what that obviously equates to then is a debt service coverage ratio of about 1.5 times the debt service payment, which is very good. It gives us a lot of cushion there in case there was something that happened with the restaurants or the hotel or something like that.
Excuse me, Michael?
Sure.
When you say Weston project as a whole, that includes the whole TIF district then?
No, it
Or
just includes
the
the
Weston?
hotel, the restaurants, the bank, and
So
and the
just that
stores.
project alone?
Just that
gives
project
that?
alone.
Thank you.
Right. But, following up on your question, so when you look at the total tax increment from the Lake Cook Milwaukee TIF, which of course includes Prairie Park and Millbrook and everything else, the TIF district is generating $4.6 million. And the TIF revenue bonds have a pledge against the increment generated by the entire TIF district. In other words, the village pledged the increment from the entire TIF district, not just from the Weston project. So if the Weston itself did not generate enough money to make the debt service payments in any given year, we would have to use the increment from the rest of the TIF district to make up the difference. So that provides a debt service coverage ratio of over 2.5 times the annual debt service payments, which is really good. It's a lot of money. So the opportunity that the village has now is due to the fact that the 2005 bonds are callable, which means we can refund them. We can call them back and pay them off, essentially. Interest rates have dropped to 2.93% currently on revenue bonds and as low as 1.76% on general obligation bonds. And so the present value savings that would accrue to the village right now is between $1.7 million for revenue bonds and $2.5 million. $1.7 million for revenue bonds and $2.5 million for general obligation bonds. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk to the board tonight is about the issue of risk here. The village has an opportunity, number one, to refund the bonds, but the bigger decision I think that needs to be made is whether the refunding will happen with either revenue bonds or general obligation bonds, and that's a risk issue. The difference, obviously, is $800,000 in present value savings. Yeah.
You said we had $4 million in general obligation bonds with this project. What's the status of those?
Those we refunded recently, and we continue to make payments on those. Okay. Now, we can't use TIF money to make the payments on those bonds because they're not TIF bonds, but we use sales tax that's generated by the project to make those debt service payments, and they're about $400,000 a year, roughly.
Thank you.
So the issue here is one of risk, and the way we've structured this proposed refunding is that if we were to do this as a general obligation issue, the debt service payments would be anywhere from $1.9 million to $2 million annually until the bonds are paid off. Compare that to the fact that right now we're making payments that will rise to $2.4 million when the bonds are paid off. The other big advantage of general obligation bonds over revenue bonds is that if we were to refund them as GOs, the bonds would mature in 2022, which is 3 years earlier than revenue bonds would mature. And the reason for that is in large part because of the lower interest rate, but also because right now we currently have $1.9 million set aside in a debt service reserve account for the revenue bonds that we can now use if we do general obligation bonds to pay down the principal that's still outstanding. So these bonds would mature, the general obligation bonds, in about 6 years. And at approximately $2 million of debt service payments per year, the debt service coverage ratio would be 1.35 times the increment from the Weston project specifically, and 2.3 times the increment from the entire TIF. So that's a lot of debt service coverage, a lot of protection the village would have against some kind of catastrophic event that might happen to the project, which I think the likelihood of something like that happening is extremely low, especially when you consider the fact that this project was built right before the greatest recession that any of us have ever seen between 2008 and 2010. We had no idea, obviously, when we sold the original bonds that was coming, and yet the project survived that recession, and we never had a problem making the debt service payments during those years. So my thought is that if we've already seen the worst of, I think, what could possibly happen in terms of this project, and we've come through it okay. So bullet point number 2 is that there's actually an extra layer of protection beyond all the property tax increment that's coming into the district, and that is the fact that until December 31st of 2019, we have the ability to move money from another TIF district into this TIF district via the Crossroads TIF in the event that there wasn't enough money, in the extremely rare event that, or unlikely event that there wasn't enough money to make the debt service payments. So when you look at the risk, you're really only talking about from 2020 to 2022, which would be 3 years of risk, and I think it's very minimal. But I should point out, the final point on this slide is that it would make sense for the village to maintain a certain amount of money, probably about 1 year's worth of debt service payments
reserves
in the fund as a reserve against some kind of downturn in the economy. So if the village board decides to go forward with this, I just thought I'd let you know what the timeline for selling these bonds would be. We're currently having conversations with our 2 bond rating agencies, Fitch and S&P. We've had already 1 bond rating phone call, which involved myself and Director Melanophy and Business Development Coordinator Garcia. We talked to Fitch last week. I think the call went very well. We have a call again on Wednesday with S&P to talk about the village's financial condition so they can issue another bond rating. And as an aside, I just thought I'd mention that both bond rating agencies were very pleased by the decision that the board made in January to contribute additional funds to the pension funds from the surplus that occurred in 2015. That was viewed very favorably by the bond rating agencies. So just as an aside. So anyway, during the week of August 8th, we would receive our bond ratings and print the official statement. All of you would receive a copy of that. During the week of August 15th, we would distribute the draft bond ordinance. The bond sale would occur on the morning of August 22nd, and the board would approve the ordinance that night, and the bond closing would happen on September 6th. So we're looking for direction tonight about whether or not the board wants to go forward with the refunding and whether that should be done with general obligation versus revenue bonds. And I'm happy to try to answer any questions you have.
Thanks. Start with Trustee Vogel.
Just one other question, Michael. You mentioned on that $4 million of the general obligation bonds could not be paid off by TIF with TIF funds.
Right.
What makes this different? if we transfer these from revenue bonds to general obligation bonds?
Because when we entered into the redevelopment agreement for the West End, we were able to come up with $19 million in TIF-eligible costs that we could pay for.
Okay.
We couldn't come up with 23 million, so that's why
So that was the differential,
it
okay.
had to be done differently.
All right, thank you. No, I agree with you. I went through this pretty closely. I think it's well worth the risk, 100% behind it.
It's a short-term risk, too.
Yeah.
Trustee Papantos?
Thank you. I also read it very closely, and to tell you the truth, I think it's a no-brainer, go with the general obligation bonds. I can't see where the risk is at this point in the project, as you pointed out.
Right.
So, thank you.
Trustee Vito?
Yeah, same thing. There doesn't seem to be too much risk involved with it, and get rid of the bond quicker and at a cheaper cost is a good thing.
Right.
Trustee Lang?
Agreed.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes, in general.
Trustee Brady?
Good plan.
By doing this too, Michael, just to piggyback on something, that would release us from committing any future increment that's being generated on that North TIF, right? Right now, we're obligated, we pledged, I should say, everything in that TIF.
That's right. That's right. There would no longer be, we would no longer have to pledge the rest of
It
the.
would free us up on that.
That's right.
That's good. I agree. It's a risk, but it's short-term. It's not a 20-year risk or a 25-year risk. We're talking 9 years and this thing's done, or 8 years is done. But I just want to share with everybody, at time to time, and I'm sure you all have had the same questions, from what does the Weston development do for the village of Wheeling? And, you know, we've been hammered in the past by TIF, people that don't like TIFs, especially like the schools and stuff. And I understand that, and I respect that. But here's a great example on how a TIF really worked for the entire taxi body, and most important for this community. Michael showed you a figure of real estate taxes being generated about $2.7 million annually, and with the cost of increase of taxes, that number is going to be going up, and you'll see that in the next few years. Here you got a TIF district, the Weston project, that generates zero, absolutely zero impact to our parks, to our library, to our schools. Okay? And you guys look at your tax bills and you see the percentages of what you pay in taxes, who gets what. So this project really was a good example of using TIF, okay, and taking the chance prior to the recession. But most important, that entire complex generates $1.7 million a year in revenue for the village of Wheeling. Motel tax, user tax, sales tax, beverage tax, food and beverage tax, $1.7 million a year. So how does that benefit the village of Wheeling? Well, if we didn't have $1.7 million a year, I guarantee our staffing would be a lot less. And you're probably looking at a 17% tax levy just to make up that $1.7 million a year. This is a good example on how TIF worked. Let's remind everybody with the heat that we just had, and the years of driving by Milwaukee and Lake Cook and smelling that wonderful foul odor of horses. That was there 15 years ago, 12 years ago. It's not there today. It's become a destination place for this community. It's become a destination place for actually the entire region, not just Wheeling, but the corporate and everything that's happening there. The synergy that's happened there, it's phenomenal. But I wanted to share that. So today, $4.4 million of new revenue, new dollars is being generated based on that hotel and the restaurants there and the Vaughn Bank and everything else. But this is what I'm talking about. And after 2025, guess what? Almost $3 million in real estate taxes is going to be distributed to all the taxing bodies with no impact. Zero. We have the impact because we have to service them. Our impact is core services. Our police are there all the time. Our fire are there all the time. Public Works is always working there all the time. So I just wanted to share that to the public because I get that once in a while. You know, what does the Weston do for us? Really? It does a lot. It's huge. So, Michael, again, this is great, thinking out of the box and really being proactive and taking advantage of the low interest rates. I mean, I'm in the business. It's the all-time record right now. It's low. It's sickening low. And possibly even go lower. Who knows? But I think you got your consensus, and we're looking forward to a positive bond rating.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Official communication. Mary Kruger. Trustee Kruger.
I have nothing this evening, thanks.
Trustee Vito.
Nothing, nice chamber outing. That's about it.
It's hot.
Yeah, it was hot.
Trustee Vogel.
Rocking with the cops on Sunday night. Those from the board that are going to help cook. It starts at 7:30, so I assume we'll probably eat about, want to start eating at 8 until 8 to 9, 8 to 9:30. Something like that. What time you want the food?
You're cooking, so you tell us when soup's on.
They have food ready at 8, so if we show up by 7.
We'll have it ready.
Yeah, show up by 7.
Chuck, we got the new barbecue. We're not using the other barbecue, so.
Yeah, new grills.
If you can show up at 7 o'clock and be ready at that point.
We'll get there early to help you move the stuff over.
All right.
Trustee Brady?
Those hot dogs are so hard to cook. I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Trustee Lang?
Thank you. Just to follow up on the Falcon jet that went into the EMAS back in January. Interesting thing had come out of it. It seems that the company that makes the block, Zodiac Arresting Systems, had said that or Jamie Abbott, I would say, at the airport, had covered the situation so well of putting the airport and the blocks back together that they are using him as a kind of a spokesman in a way. They're sending him to Japan to talk to the folks at the Japanese equivalent of the FAA about the same blocks and how to put an airport back together after an incident like this. So it's pretty exciting that he has become an expert at this. We had asked him to take good logs of everything that took place, and from towing the plane out to ordering new blocks, and he did, and it paid off. They're asking him to speak to the Japanese government on this, and it's a good thing. It represents our airport very well.
Yeah, very well. Move. Thanks.
That's it. Thank you.
Who do we got? Trustee Papantos.
Yes, very exciting today to see work starting at across the street. To tell you the truth, to keep with the theme, it was a little bit like Christmas in July, because they were cutting the pine trees down and you could smell it from just walking by. And I think that was wonderful. And on the 28th at the Community Rec Center, our state reps, Carol Sente and Elaine Necritz, will be hosting a program for the tax assessment if you want to appeal your assessment. So that should be very interesting. It starts at 6:30, I believe.
6:30 to 8 at the CRC this Thursday. It's a piggyback of what we had here with the assessor's office. So both representatives will be there to help folks who need help finding out about their exemptions, understand the process of appealing and everything else too. So.
And we'll put that up on social media tomorrow, even though it's at the Park District.
We piggybacked on a bunch of it already on Facebook and stuff. So if you guys need some help, please utilize their help. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Clerk Simpson.
Nothing this evening.
Manager's Fondos.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Okay. I just want to make an announcement real quick. Our good friend, Joe Romeo over at Spears, this guy never seems to not amaze me. He's always reaching out. You talk about a good community business leader and wanting to do. This Thursday at 6 o'clock at Spears. Spears is paying it forward and cherishing our freedom. Help us to help the soldiers who sacrificed their lives to protect us. They're going to have raffles, silent auction, live music. They have their 5-pound burger challenge. I know our fire department's always there challenging that. It's always a great event. But you know what, folks? Go out there and support. It's a great cause. It's for the Wounded Warrior Foundation and that. Joe does such a great job over there. And, there's a guy that always wants to do, what can I do? Who can I help? And I think we owe it as a community to go there, have a beer, have a pop, have an appetizer or something, throw a couple dollars in there for a raffle, because he really does it all, and he does it for nothing. He just continues to give. And I tell you, he's become a friend of this community and all of us here on the board, and I think we owe it to him to at least show up and have a pop, and say hello. But that's this Thursday at Spears at 6 o'clock, and it goes to about 8. I'm sorry, 5 o'clock, it starts to 8. And I know Joe's there all the time, and I try to get there as much as Ray and everybody else too, but just a good guy, and good for him. There is no exec tonight, so I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, you want to stay?
No one wants to leave.
Second?
Motion by trustee Lang, second by trustee Papantos. Roll call.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
President Jarvis?
Yes, our next meeting will be next Monday here at 6:30. Thank you.